Captain Lisa Wright stood on the bridge of her ship, the Challenger. She looked at the huge alien spaceship on the big screen in front of her. The alien ship was fancy, covered in gold, and 5 times bigger than her ship. This ship belonged to the Zentari Empire, a powerful group that had ruled hundreds of alien species for thousands of years. Commander Alan Peters walked up to her with new information. "Captain, their ship is sending messages on all channels. They're telling us to accept their supreme authority and get ready for inspection." Lisa looked at Sam Rodriguez, her diplomacy expert. "Let's find out more about these Zentari before we answer them." The screen changed, showing a tall purple-skinned alien wearing lots of metal jewelry. "I am Grand Admiral Xortal of the Great Zentari Empire, rulers of the Galaxy Center and 15,000 servant worlds. Your simple ship has entered our territory. Prepare to be boarded and classified." Lisa had to bite her lip to keep from smiling. The Zentari ship looked beautiful, but her weapons officer had already noticed it had no defense systems, weak shields, and engines that seemed barely faster than light speed. "Grand Admiral," Lisa answered politely, "we welcome this chance to meet. However, boarding our ship is not possible without proper diplomatic steps first." The alien looked confused. "You don't understand, human. This is not a request. The Zentari Empire has ruled this galaxy since your species was learning to make fire. Resistance is." Commander Peters leaned close to her. "Captain, they're turning on their weapons. Should we raise our shields?" Lisa nodded calmly. "Shields up. But don't power our weapons yet. Let's see what they can do." What the Zentari could do turned out to be not much. The beam they fired at the Challenger was stopped by the shields without even making them flicker. "Did they just?" Engineer Joe Garcia started to ask, looking at his control panel. "Yes," Lisa confirmed, now unable to hold back her smile. "They just tried to attack us with what looks like a focused microwave beam." The bridge crew looked at each other before they all started to laugh. "Captain," said Frank Collins from the weapons station, "their attack is about as dangerous as the microwave oven in our break room." Lisa tried to look serious again. These aliens might have weak technology, but they still ruled thousands of worlds. Laughing at them might not be the best way to start relations. "Should we fire back?" asked Commander Allen. Lisa shook her head. "No, they're not a real threat to us." She turned to the communication officer. "Open the channel again, please." Admiral Xortal's purple face appeared on screen. He looked shocked that his attack hadn't worked. "Admiral," Lisa said kindly, "perhaps we could start over. We come in peace and would like to learn about your empire. Maybe we could meet in person to talk." The alien admiral didn't answer right away. He was still trying to understand how his most powerful weapon had done nothing. "Yes," he finally said, "a meeting would be appropriate." As the screen went dark, Lisa looked at her crew. "Well, that was an interesting first contact. Let's prepare for visitors. And please," she added with a small smile, "try not to laugh when they come aboard." Admiral Xortal's mouth hung open in shock. The human ship had taken his best weapon, hit without even a scratch. On the bridge of the Imperial Fist, the most feared ship in the Zentari fleet, every crew member stared at their screens in disbelief. "This cannot be," said Sub-Commander Vex in a shaky voice. "Our microwave cannon has defeated 17 different alien races." Xortal pulled himself together and fixed his fancy armor. His purple face turned darker with anger. "They must have special shields against our energy weapons. Fire the molecular disruptors now." The huge golden ship trembled as it fired its backup weapons. The Zentari believed these weapons were so powerful they could break moons apart. On the Challenger, Frank Collins looked at his control panel and started to grin. "Captain, they're hitting us with some kind of sound-based weapon. It's so weak it doesn't even show up on our threat meters." Captain Lisa Wright tried not to smile. She needed to act professional, but this was getting harder by the minute. "I see. I think we need to show them what real weapons can do before this goes too far." Mr. Collins, please use one small defense laser, lowest power setting, aimed at their front section. The Challenger fired its smallest weapon, basically just a warning, and the beam cut a clean, perfect hole through the Imperial Fist's golden hull. The communication screen filled with panicked Centauri faces. Crew members ran back and forth behind Admiral Sortal, who looked completely stunned. "What kind of weapon did you use?" Sortal asked, his voice rising. "Our ship is made of the strongest gold in the galaxy. Triple reinforced celestial gold. It's very pretty," Lisa said with a polite nod. "But gold is a terrible material for ships that might get into fights." The alien admiral's face changed as he started thinking hard. "It seems we may have underestimated your technology, humans. We should retreat for now to study your capabilities further." As the Imperial Fist turned to leave, Engineer Joe Garcia called from his station. "Captain, I've been looking at their engines. They're using old-style chemical rockets. They can barely go faster than light speed." Lisa couldn't hold back anymore. She laughed out loud. "Admiral Sortal, before you go, would you like our help with your engines? Even our passenger ships are much faster than your warship." The Centauri crew looked even more shocked at this offer. Admiral Sortal's jewelry clinked as he shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "We require no assistance," he said stiffly, but his eyes darted around the impressive human bridge visible on his screen. Commander Alan Peters leaned toward Lisa. "Captain, I think we broke their pride." "They'll be ok," Lisa whispered back. "But I'm starting to wonder how such an outdated empire controls so many worlds." The Imperial Fist slowly turned away, its golden hull gleaming dramatically in the starlight. A strange whining noise came through the communication channel as its engines pushed to maximum power. "Are they backfiring?" asked Frank Collins, fighting to keep a straight face. "Their engine design is at least 200 years behind ours," Joe Garcia confirmed. "It's like comparing a steam locomotive to a bullet train." Captain Lisa watched the alien ships retreat with growing curiosity. "Send all our scanned data to Earth Command. Something very strange is happening in this part of space. A vast empire with technology centuries behind ours shouldn't be possible." Little did she know that this strange meeting was about to change the history of both human and Centauri civilization forever. The meeting room on the human ship Challenger was quiet and tense. On one side of the table sat Captain Lisa Wright, Commander Alan Peters, and Sam Rodriguez, the human diplomacy expert. Across from them sat Admiral Sortal and two other important purple-skinned Centauri. Lisa looked at her notes with a puzzled expression. "So your empire has ruled for 12,000 years and controls thousands of star systems, but you never developed better faster-than-light travel." Sortal's purple face turned a darker shade. "The great Centauri mastered space travel long ago. Our methods are tested and reliable." Sam leaned forward with interest. "And in all that time, none of the aliens you met had better technology than yours." "The lesser races we rule are simple beings," said Sortal with clear pride. "Most had just begun space travel when we found them." Lisa tapped her pen on the table. "I see. And what about the space beyond your territory?" "Wild, dangerous space," replied one of the other Centauri. "Full of deadly radiation, space storms, and conditions no one could survive in." Commander Allen couldn't hide his smile. "Those deadly conditions are exactly where humans have been living happily for over 100 years." This explained a lot. The Centauri Empire had grown slowly through the calm, safe parts of the galaxy near the center. Meanwhile, humans had evolved on Earth, a planet in what the Centauri called the dangerous reaches. Living with higher radiation, stronger gravity, and harsher conditions had pushed humans to create better technology much faster. "Admiral," Lisa said carefully, "we need to talk about your empire's real situation. Your territory is huge, but your technology is very old compared to ours. Just our home planet Earth probably has more firepower than your entire fleet." Xortal's metal jewelry made clinking sounds as he moved in his chair. And what will you do with this power? Take over our empire like we took over other worlds. Lisa gave him a real smile. That's not how humans work, Admiral. We want peaceful relations, and maybe to help improve your technology. Your empire has stayed stable for a very long time, and we respect that. The Admiral looked at her with doubt. Why would you help us? Because, Sam said, the galaxy is much bigger and maybe more dangerous than either of us knew before. There might be threats out there that would make working together a good idea for both of us. Lisa watched the Admiral's face as he thought about this. The Zentari had never faced a species more advanced than themselves before. For 12,000 years, they had always been the strongest. Now, in just one day, that had all changed. Your ships, Xortal said slowly, how fast can they travel? Our standard ships can cross your entire empire in about 2 weeks, Commander Allen answered. The Zentari officials looked at each other in shock. Their fastest ships would take years to do the same journey. And your weapons? Asked one of the other Zentari. What you saw was our smallest defense laser at its lowest power, Lisa explained. We have much more, but we prefer to use our technology for exploration, not war. Admiral Xortal's face showed a mix of fear and wonder. In 12,000 years, we never imagined, never prepared for this. Change can be difficult, Lisa said kindly, but it can also bring new opportunities. Perhaps together, we can build something better than either of us could alone. For the first time since they met, the Admiral's proud face softened slightly. Perhaps, he said quietly, we have much to learn from each other. Many people gathered on Space Station Freedom to watch the first official Zentari visitors arrive. Both regular citizens and military workers wanted to see these aliens who had ruled much of the galaxy for thousands of years. The Zentari stepped off their shuttle looking proud, but their eyes grew wide as they saw human technology up close. Governor Olivia Miller greeted them with a friendly smile. Welcome to Freedom Station. We have rooms ready for you to stay in and tours planned so you can see how we live. The lead Zentari visitor, Minister Zolvex, gave a stiff bow. The great Zentari Empire thanks you for your welcome. As the Zentari walked through the station, they couldn't stop staring at things humans thought were normal. Robots that brought drinks, images that floated in the air, and the easy way gravity worked throughout the station. Your technology is impressive, admitted Minister Zolvex, trying to sound calm while watching a repair robot fix part of the station wall. The biggest surprise came when the Zentari saw the public workshop where regular people were building and fixing their own devices. You let normal citizens change technology? Zolvex asked, looking shocked. Without permission from leaders. Of course, answered engineer Diane Howard. Some of our best ideas come from regular people just playing around with things. The Zentari minister shook his head. But how do you control what they make? What if someone creates something dangerous? Diane smiled. We have safety rules, but we believe progress comes from freedom to experiment. At the same time, humans who visited the Zentari homeworld were making their own discoveries. The planet was beautiful, covered with tall golden buildings and fancy art. But under this pretty surface, they found troubling things. Dr. Rick Johnson sent a private message back to Captain Lisa. Their medical knowledge is very basic, he reported. Most Zentari only live about 50 years. The rulers live longer only by taking organs from the races they control. Captain Lisa frowned as she read this on the Challenger. And how do they treat the worlds they rule? Like farms, Rick replied. Some planets are just slave worlds. Others must give food and materials to the Empire. They keep these worlds poor on purpose by not letting them have good technology. This created a hard choice for Earth's leaders. The Zentari Empire was cruel to many worlds and billions of people. But if humans stepped in to change things too quickly, it could cause chaos across thousands of planets. Commander Allen joined Lisa as she thought about this problem. The Zentari have some good points, he said. Their art is amazing. Their buildings last for thousands of years. Their society is very stable. Yes, Lisa agreed, but stability built on keeping others down isn't right. She looked at the latest reports from both teams. The question is, can we help them change without destroying everything they've built? That night, after most of the Zentari visitors had gone to their rooms, Diane Howard found Minister Zolvex alone in the observation room, staring out at the stars. "What are you thinking about?" she asked him. The Zentari was quiet for a long moment. "We thought we were the most advanced beings in the galaxy," he finally said. "For 12,000 years, we believed this. Now I wonder what else we might be wrong about." Diane stood beside him, looking at the same stars. Being wrong isn't always bad. Sometimes it's the first step to learning something new. Admiral Xortal walked into the great golden hall with a worried feeling in his stomach. The 12 elders of the Zentari Empire rarely met in person. Their purple skin was wrinkled with age, and they wore heavy golden jewelry that showed their power. Elder Corvex, the oldest of them all, spoke first. "These humans have technology that could destroy everything we built. Their ideas threaten our 12,000 years of rule." Xortal bowed his head. "Great elders, I have watched the humans closely. They do not seem to want to fight us. They talk about working together and trading with us." "Foolish," said another elder with a wave of his hand. "When our slave worlds hear about human technology, they will want the same things. Our power will end." The meeting went on for hours. Half the elders wanted to attack Earth right away. The other half knew that was a bad idea because human weapons were too strong. What the elders didn't know was that the humans could hear everything they said. On the Challenger, Captain Lisa listened with growing worry. "They plan to cut us off," she told her officers. "They want to stop all contact between human space and the Empire. Then they will try to build up their military using stolen bits of our technology." Commander Allen shook his head. "It won't work. Their science knowledge is too basic. They can't copy our technology without understanding how it works." "Maybe," Lisa agreed, "but they could hurt many people while trying." Before they could decide what to do, another message came in. This one wasn't from the Zentari. It came from a group they hadn't met before. Rebels from 6 different alien races who had been ruled by the Empire for thousands of years. The rebel leader looked like a walking cat. "We have watched how you talk to the Zentari," the cat person said. "Your technology could free us from thousands of years of being slaves." Lissa looked at her officers with concern. This made everything much more complicated. Back in the Golden Hall, the elders finally made their decision. "We must protect our empire from these dangerous ideas," Elder Corvex announced. "First, we will send all humans home. Second, we will tell our people that humans are dangerous monsters. Third, we will take their technology whenever we can." Admiral Xortal didn't agree with this plan, but he kept quiet. He had seen human ships and weapons up close. He knew that making humans angry would be a terrible mistake. As he left the meeting, a young Zentari aide rushed up to him. "Admiral, we have a problem," the aide whispered. "Someone leaked information about the humans to the public network." Xortal's eyes widened. "What information?" "Everything," the aide said nervously. "Pictures of their ships, videos of their technology, reports about how they let common people have rights and education." The admiral closed his eyes. It was too late for the elders' plan. Once the subject worlds heard about humans, everything would change. On 17 planets across the Empire, the first protests began that night. People carried signs with a new word they had just learned: freedom. And on the Challenger, Lisa Wright faced the hardest choice of her life. Should humans help the rebels and end thousands of years of slavery? Or should they stay out of it and let the Zentari handle their own problems? "Whatever we decide," she told her crew, "the galaxy will never be the same after today." News about humans spread quickly through the Zentari Empire. The elders tried to stop it, but they couldn't. The spark came from an unexpected place, a regular Zentari worker who had visited Earth during the cultural exchange program. The Zentari tech worker had become friends with engineer Nathan Blackwell from Earth. Nathan had shown him how humans shared information freely and let everyone improve technology. The Zentari was amazed by this idea and secretly took data chips back home. He gave copies to friends, who gave copies to more friends. Soon, people on many planets knew the truth about humans. They learned that the Empire had been keeping them in the dark for thousands of years. They learned that better technology was possible. They learned the word freedom. Within 3 weeks, people on 17 planets began to fight against Zentari rule. The Empire sent soldiers to stop them, but their old weapons didn't work well against rebels who had started using simple human ideas to improve their own tools. The Empire is falling apart, Fleet Commander Karen Daniels told Captain Lisa as they watched reports come in. Their army is spread too thin, and their slave planets are fighting back. 3 big worlds have already declared themselves free. Lisa faced the hardest choice of her life. Earth had strict rules about not interfering in alien politics, but the revolution that was happening now had started because of human contact. Many people were dying in the fighting. We can't directly join the war, she finally decided, but we can offer medical help to everyone and try to get both sides to talk to each other. The Challenger flew to the Zentari capital with a bold plan. Change the Empire into a group of free worlds where all species had rights. The plan would let planets govern themselves while keeping trade and peace between them. It would also slowly introduce new technology so economies wouldn't collapse overnight. Surprisingly, Admiral Xortal listened to the plan with interest. The Council of Elders had been overthrown by younger Zentari who saw that change was necessary. Our empire has lasted for 12,000 years because it adapted when it needed to, Xortal told Lisa. Perhaps this is just the next step in our history. Not all Zentari agreed. Some who wanted to keep the old ways attacked the human meeting place. They might have killed everyone, but the Challenger's defense systems protected the humans. Even more surprising, some progressive Zentari and former slaves fought together to help defend the humans. After the attack failed, Lisa met with leaders from both sides. The old empire is gone, she told them, but you can build something better together. Admiral Xortal looked at the rebel leaders, members of species his people had ruled for thousands of years. For the first time, he saw them not as subjects, but as equals. Perhaps, he said slowly, it is time for the Zentari to learn from others, rather than always being the teachers. A cat-like rebel leader named Mirzak stepped forward. We don't want revenge. We want a voice in our future. As they talked through the night, the framework for a new galactic order began to take shape. There would be hard times ahead and many problems to solve. But for the first time, in 12,000 years, all species in this part of space would have a say in how they were governed. And it all started because humans couldn't help laughing at some outdated alien weapons. 5 years passed after humans first met the Zentari. Admiral Lisa Wright, who used to be Captain Lisa, stood by the window of the new ship called UNSV Cooperation. Below her, the old Zentari capital planet sparkled in the sunlight. The city still had its golden towers, but now there were also new buildings made with human help. Hard to believe how much has changed, said Commander Allen, who had stayed as her trusted helper through all the difficult years. The technology sharing is going well, reported Dr. Diane Howard, who had been in charge of carefully giving human technology to the former Empire worlds. We focused on medical technology first. People on all planets are now living about 20% longer. The Zentari Empire was gone. In its place was the Zentari Federation, where different species worked together instead of some ruling over others. It hadn't been easy, but the new government had kept things stable during the big changes. Admiral Xortal, who now served as one of 3 leaders of the Federation Council, had surprised everyone by becoming a good reformer. We still have problems, Sam Rodriguez pointed out. Some outer worlds don't want to join the Federation, and there are reports that some old Empire supporters have set up a small government far away. Lisa nodded. No change this big could happen without some resistance, but overall, bringing human and Centauri societies together has worked better than anyone thought it would. The former slave species had adapted especially well to the new situation. They took human technical knowledge and mixed it with their own unique ideas to create new inventions that even surprised Earth's scientists. The galaxy is much more interesting than the Empire told everyone, Lisa said, looking at star maps showing places the Centauri never explored. Their maps were so limited. We've already found 3 other spacefaring civilizations beyond their dangerous zones that they never knew about. The cooperation was getting ready for a mission to explore regions unknown to both humans and the former Empire. Lisa thought back to that first meeting, how her crew had laughed at the Centauri's old-fashioned technology and grand claims. "We were too proud," she admitted to Alan. "We saw their old technology and thought they were completely backward. But we missed seeing how they kept their society stable for thousands of years." "And what about them?" Alan asked. "They saw our technology but missed seeing the curiosity and creativity that made it possible," Lisa answered. She pointed to the viewport, where a mixed team of humans, Centauri, and cat-like Alkuri, one of the former slave species, were testing a new engine design. "Now we're all learning from each other," she said. "And I think space will be better because of it." The cooperation's engine started up, powered by a mix of human and alien technologies. As the huge ship moved away from the station, Admiral Wright smiled at what this ship represented. Alone, neither humans nor Centauri could have built it. But together, they were reaching for the stars. On the planet below, children from 7 different species played in a new schoolyard. None of them remembered the old Empire. They were growing up in a galaxy where working together was normal. They looked up at the stars and wondered what exciting discoveries they would make when they grew up. The end.